A couple of useful tips this week. Miniature spirit level. I've never used one before. I've got the bigger one, but there's a bit too clumsy in trying to put on your tracks. But I bought 3 of these from Amazon, 3 for £5, and they're ideal because you don't always realise, especially with people like me that use boards over and over again, and they tend to get a bit, as we say, not exactly level. And when you put your track down, you can't always tell. But these are spirit levels are absolutely first class for that job. You see, I'm not so bad. I'm pretty good there. Like a bit out over there, but yeah, 3 for £5. I say I bought them on Amazon. I suppose a lot of people will sell them, but ideal to put in your toolbox. The other thing I'm going to mention this week, I was having trouble with that Blue Pullman again, derailing. In actual fact, there were 4 places on that outer track where I was having problems. No problem with the other trains, just the Blue Pullman. But of course that's got a motor in the front and the rear. So you're pushing and pulling at the same time, and it's putting more friction, shall we say, on the axles and the joiners. But anyway, what I did was, I've always used, I try to use Hornby fast track points. These are the ones. But what I've done, I've changed over. I've gone on to the Electrofrog Pico one, and it has solved the problem. But what I find was, with these Hornby fast track, I use side. I'll just show you. I use those side mounted electric motors, and of course it's got to flick the points over, which on the Hornby they're very easy. They're a dearer point than what the Pico are, and they're not as strong, but there you go, it caused a problem up there. Anyway, I've gone onto the Pico Electrofrog and it's cured the problem. But if you'll notice, I think I've shown this a few years ago, same thing. On your guide rail on the Hornby, you look at the length of that, and then the short one here on the Electrofrog Pico. And of course the other thing is, it's on the Frog, I think. Yeah, if you look on the Frog there on the Hornby, you've got quite a bit in there, and it was just flicking one or 2 axles over. I've done the obvious, which people kept saying, have you checked the back to back? Yes, I've got a tool for that, and I checked that, it was alright. But it was just that Blue Pullman. Only one thing, if you go on to Pico Electrofrog, unless you're doing the motors underneath, which I said I am not, you've got to cut. There's 2 wires on here that you've got to cut. They're on those 2 rails. You can see I've cut them. And then between these 2, you've got to put a bit of wire across. Otherwise they'll short out when your trains go on. Unless you say you wire them with from underneath with the way you're supposed to do. But with these now I can use my side mounted point motors. But that's all you need to do. Solder a bit of wire, both sides there, connect them 2 and disconnect them 2 there. Otherwise I say you get a short when the train goes over. Yeah, solved that problem for me. I've got a long way this last week, couple of weeks, but I've still a fair bit to do. A lot of ballasting to do and a rusting on the tracks, etc. I've just done that bridge again. Took another picture. It's a local bridge. It just comes in handy, and I just painted a white line, painted out the yellow lines, and it matches in reasonably well. I could probably do better. I might take another one later. But I'll run a couple of trains round, and I'll show you what improvements I've done, among others. Oh, I would say with that derailment, I did also. I've come round. It's always difficult, of course, when you've got an incline and curves. That's where problems go. And if you get a sensitive Lauco like that Blue Pullman, you find them. But I had a short piece in there, and unfortunately, being just on the edge of on top of the riser, that was causing a problem. I had a little problem on the curve down at the bottom, hence I put a new piece of track in there, so it still needs ballasting. And also, I'm full of problems, wasn't I? I don't always show them on the video, but I ran the Blue Pullman on the inner one last time, and it was perfect. But down at the bottom corner there, there's a sharp bend, and it's at the bottom of an incline again, so I just have to alter that a little bit. But touch wood, everything seems fine now. I wanted to show you, of course, was that I had a bit of a problem with that canal. I finished up, I'd used the EZ water, and it looked not too bad, but I wasn't happy with it. The mistake I made was I did 3 say boilings, and I put them down in 3 separate goes, which it didn't join up properly. Somebody suggested putting the heat blower on, which I did do, your wire shrink blower. It levelled it out, but at the same time then I think it must have expanded and contracted, and it came away from the sides. Anyway, I ripped the lot out, I rebuilt the sides up, you can see they're higher now, and then I had 1 packet left of that EZ. I used that, and I used it for just doing the bottom. I put a very thin layer on the bottom, and it acted as a good sealant then. And then I went back to using, I gave in, but I found somewhere where I could get it a lot cheaper. I bought the Realistic water, and there you have the end result. It's quite good. I added a little pond here, that's because still it's not dry properly yet. I just put those swans on now, and I should have waited a bit longer. And of course I have another pond at the back there. Yeah, I'm quite happy with all that now. As I say, I've got to do a lot of ballasting all around. A few bits of lighting and things to do yet. But I think another week, fortnight, and we should see it finished. It's getting whereas I've had enough with altering things. I've arthritis in my hands. I've got it all over the place actually, but it can be quite painful at times. So I'm glad to say that I shall have this finished, and then hopefully we're coming on to summer and back to my gardening. I'll just show you that with my steam engines, that incline, it don't seem to be a problem. I've only got 5 coaches on this A4 Great Snipe. As you can see, she gets up there, no problem at all. Right, that'll do for now. As I say, a couple of weeks time I hope I'll have it all done. We'll do another one then. I think we'll be satisfied with it all, hopefully.